Welcome out to another episode of It's All Been Trekked Before. This time, Obsession. Oh yeah. It's kind of like Moby Dick, but it's only an hour long. So check out our thoughts on Kirk's Obsession, not by Calvin Klein. Also, some other things you can check out. As always, go to patreon.com/IABD. Help support us, support the network. We'll be glad you did. You'll be glad you did. It's a great thing. Also, the mothership is back this weekend at Mad Lab. It's All Been Done Radio Hour. Radio type serials. Yeah, you know them. You love them. Universe Journey. It's kind of like Star Trek, from what I hear. Daniel Kravitz, Packer and Ratcliffe. All your favorites. You don't know who's going to be in. Maybe the top-notch Tangler. And all those funny commercials. But you can be there live. Mad Lab, 5:30 this Saturday. And you can be there, but special this month. Not 5:30, 4:30. You can get there a little earlier. Get your day started with the It's All Been Done Radio Hour, folks. Right there at Mad Lab. MadLab.net for tickets. We'll see you there. Right now, you're not going to see us. You're going to listen to us. We're going to talk about Obsession on It's All Been Trekked Before.
Welcome out to another episode of It's All Been Trekked Before. Many of your normal hosts are here.
This is Steven.
And Keith.
Jimmy Giroux with Zoe. And we welcome back first season guest Samantha Stark.
Hello.
And brand new guest Jess Gibson.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. I'm excited.
Why don't you tell the folks what your experience with Star Trek is?
Okay. Well, I don't have much experience with the original series. The only movie I actually remember is the whale movie. But I grew up watching the movies as they came out. We owned them all on VHS. But I remember more Next Generation than I do anything else. And then I've seen the new movies.
Nice.
What made you decide to come join us today?
Because I actually started watching the original series not too long ago, and I've seen the pilot episode and then the second episode where
The second
pilot where Kirk shows up.
Yeah.
And I want to watch more.
Yeah, they didn't air that Pike episode till like the 80s. It wasn't aired in the 60s.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Never saw the light of day.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was very surprised when I queued that up and was like, who is this? This is not what I was expecting.
Spock smiled in it.
He did.
Yeah. Well, today we're talking about the season 2 episode Obsession. Not just a perfume.
Yeah, Obsession, not by Calvin Klein.
Exactly. Although...
I mean, there's probably essence of honey in it somewhere.
Well,
in the perfume.
yeah, I don't know who
gaseous.
I don't know who sponsored this episode, whether it was Bit of Honey or whoever the honey makers are, but they could not stop mentioning that it smelled like honey. It was like, we got it. We got it, yeah.
So, first impressions of this episode. What do we think?
I remember this being one of the first ones I saw and as a kid, and I probably liked it about the same this time around. Although as a kid, I was more frightened that could happen to me. There could be a cloud somewhere.
I mean, look in the sky, there's clouds.
Yeah, exactly.
They can come down and get you.
Any rock formation, there could be a gaseous cloud that smelled like honeysuckle.
Yeah.
And my mom was good at instilling fear about everything killing us. So I was like, yeah, that's a possibility.
Did you ever smell honey as a child and panic?
Whenever anybody mentioned honeysuckle, I did.
This is like the 4th episode we've seen where they fought a cloud.
Yes, yeah.
Like the second one in the last couple weeks.
I was gonna say Metamorphosis was a
we
similar...
just saw them with a cloud. Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know why they like clouds so much in Star Trek.
I think it's just that I was thinking about it. It's just that idea of, well, it's not a different kind of creature in space.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not a solid, and we can't really have a bucket of water because what other kind of liquids are there? Let's just make it a cloud.
Well, they didn't have the technology to do liquid life forms in the original. You had to wait to Deep Space Nine to get the liquid life forms. Yeah.
I mean, they could have had a stalactite, but even then, it's still not water. It's
right.
frozen. It's
Well, I think it's
solid.
also something that you could use to scare people more in the sense of this is something you just can't just punch.
Right.
So
Right.
It was odd that it could fly through space intact in its cloud form.
I had forgotten about that part of it. I thought the entire episode took place on the planet.
Yeah.
So when it took off into space, I'm like, I don't remember that. But
Like, how does it propel itself?
They said it
something
uses
about-
gravity.
Yeah.
And I was like, that doesn't make sense.
Zero gravity.
Logically, this makes no sense.
It reaches out and grabs the gravity of another star and pulls itself towards it.
Hey, that sounds viable.
There were a lot of nonsense words used to describe things, so we would believe them in this episode. Like when Spock's doing all the transporter stuff and recircuiting and all that. It's like, okay, I don't understand what you're recircuiting, but and however they had to use the antimatter to
Antimatter
make it
and
blow
matter
up.
together.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, Spock.
Sure. Well, they talk about antimatter quite a bit in Star Trek.
They do.
So that part didn't bother me.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird where they're like, home is where it fought a starship once before. Because I'm like, really? Why does that make it home? I don't understand. Like, it seemed ridiculous and contrived.
The first time it tastes blood, it smells it out and goes back.
Not to mention
it's going to breed. It's going to go back and breed.
Yeah.
There'll be thousands of them. Wouldn't that have happened already in 11
That
years?
was well. My thought was,
We don't know how old it is.
didn't this cloud have a mommy and a daddy,
Right.
or a mommy that
Cloud
it
daddy.
split out? Yeah, I mean,
Like-
was it the first and only cloud? That goes to Jim's question about it being its home. It's like, shouldn't there be a planet of these guys hanging out there?
Well, it's like there wasn't any indication that that's where it was from. That's where it encountered them.
Right.
But they didn't say like, oh, we found in this home, and because it encountered us, it left the home.
Well, and
looking
that's
for more.
And when Kirk says it battled a starship, there, it sounds like he's saying, well, it was protecting its home. That's the only reason it came after us.
But they didn't get into that. If they had gone into that,
Right.
because they started to play with, well, maybe Kirk can communicate with it.
Right.
And they could have done something with that, but they didn't. It was so half-hearted. It was just like, okay.
I think you came up with a pretty good theory, though, that they just were meant to imply that, but didn't finish the thought, the idea of...
That's what I because
Yeah.
I mean, although it turns and attacks them and gets
Right.
Spock to accept that it's a creature, but this makes me think of one of the other things we enjoyed in the episode was Spock trying to keep the cloud from going into the room by
Oh my
putting his
God.
hands up against the
I think
vent.
that was
Oh my
very
gosh.
funny.
Why didn't he mind meld with it? He could have figured out.
If it is a sentient
If it is,
creature, then
Yeah.
there
His
you go.
thoughts to...
Because he knew it didn't like. He didn't have any red blood, so he could have.
I kind of got that the only indication it was actually sentient was Kirk thinking it was sentient.
Yeah.
The same way people were like, in Twister, if you don't know what it's like to watch it miss this house and this house, it
Oh
comes
my
straight
God.
for you. And she's like, it's a tornado. I mean, it's sorry.
Jess had
I love that movie.
Jess had a
That's a
good
great
quote.
point.
During the scene, I wrote down Jess's quote, Spock, it's a gas, Spock. He's trying to block the vent.
Well, and right before that, I had written down how Spock was so on point in this episode. His
Yeah.
logic is great. He's cutting people down. He's cutting to the chase.
Yeah.
He's figuring everything out, and then he tries to block gas with his hand.
It would have been
And not
more...
even the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right. There was, it
It would
just
have been
wasn't.
more successful if you turned around and just pressed his butt against it.
Right.
More surface
That's of
area
course, yeah.
coverage.
That
Or
would
he
have been
picked
the
up-
easy solution.
or
You're
he
right.
picked up a pillow.
So obvious.
Yes, see,
Or
the
pillow.
My
Just
question
duct
was,
tape.
so that's in every quarters apparently, we've just never seen it, the vent
Right.
thing?
Yeah.
And why was he the only one that had it on bypass? You'd think at any given time some of the other quarters would
Right,
have it on
right,
bypass.
right.
If they have that option.
Yeah.
Man, this air conditioning is really cold, but you know, like,
Yeah.
And then Spock just rips the knob off. He literally
right?
took the advice of turn it up and rip the knob off.
Right. It was just
From
a
a
simple
radio
switch.
station.
That's where that song came from.
I don't know. The climax just got more and more ridiculous with Kirk like, Spock, scan us and get ready to beam because it's going to be close. Yeah, he knew that.
Yeah.
That was the plan.
He knew all-
like,
yeah.
we got it.
Yeah.
And then the instant just like slugs Kirk and Kirk fights him back and then they're like, don't hit me again. I'm not going to die. It's fine.
I did look like for that small fight scene,
Yeah.
no stunt doubles.
Yeah, it did.
Because I
agree.
I
Seemed
look
like the last episode they didn't either.
as we always do. We always look real close because
The stunt
They-
doubles are obvious.
it's insane.
They don't look anything like the actors.
Oh
Yeah.
my
In high def on a big TV now, it's
No,
just insane.
they're real
It's just
bad.
like-
Oh, man.
Maybe you'll get one in the next episode.
Yeah.
It's real
Well,
bad.
what was the one that I watched with the guy when they were doing the heartbeats
Uh-huh.
in season
Oh,
one?
yeah, Court
When
Martial.
They were completely different
Oh,
people,
yeah.
and I was like, oh my god. You know, like you guys, because I have even less experience with Star Trek than you do, and I was like, oh my god, you guys weren't kidding. This is oh crap. So, but because of doing this, I have become a fan. But
Good.
it's still funny. But what cracked me up about that is, you know, Kirk comes in with the right hook, and the guy goes the opposite direction, which his head would have gone, and I was just like, oh man.
Yeah, the one scuffle, I was like, we definitely bypassed his face by like at least a foot.
Oh yeah,
I was
absolutely.
like, all right.
That karate chop is on point, though.
Oh
It just-
man, that karate chop.
It just always makes me think of Austin Powers.
That's
Karate
what
chop!
literally went
Karate
through my
chop!
head.
She's a
Judo
judo
chop.
chop.
Judo chop.
Yeah.
That's
We
it.
talk
Judo
all the
chop.
time about everything
Even
else
more
that's ripped off Star Trek
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, because you're
Yes.
chop and shoot. It's all groundwork.
So I got partway through the episode, I was Googling on my phone, and I got really far down the Lieutenant Leslie rabbit hole about how Lieutenant Leslie dies at the beginning of this episode, and then he actually does appear twice more in this episode.
Yeah.
I forgot to look for him.
Yeah, I didn't see him, but I read that we saw him at 2 other points after the death. And so it made me think, oh, did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with Agent Koenig just rip this off, where there's like 5 different Pat Oswalds? And I'm like, because Lieutenant Leslie in the show, he frequently wears different color shirts and work in different departments.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, we lost security in Lieutenant Leslie, but we still have Navigator Lieutenant Leslie and Engineering Lieutenant Leslie, and they all have different first names.
Oh, that's funny.
I just feel like they never established in canon that anything
He's
went
a
on.
genetic experiment.
He was basically an extra. They just used a bunch.
Or it could be stock footage.
He had like 4 lines total in the whole series. He's not like a character, but yeah, I'm really disappointed. It felt like maybe that one crewman that looked like they were going to survive should have been Leslie, and then they're like, no, we want a guest star, and then they're like, well, since he's a guest star, we'll just kill him. Yeah, I don't know. I think there have to be multiple Lieutenant Leslies. That's my theory.
So
Well, maybe they're different ranks.
Well, they're all lieutenant.
Are all of the Starfleet ships named after Navy ships?
Not all. It depends.
Because the 3 they mentioned in this are, so I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
this is a
Hmm.
trend here.
I don't know why you would do that. I mean, clearly you should name them all after rental car companies like we
Right.
do.
Maybe into it, of course.
Yeah, there's a lot
That's
of
why it's named
like
Enterprise.
little Navy nuances in
Yeah.
the show, like the rings around the cuffs at the
Yeah.
bottom of the arms.
Oh,
is
yeah.
very insignia
Yeah.
centric. So I see things, I'm like, ah.
It was funny they had the Starship Yorktown in this one, and in Beyond, Yorktown's the space station. So apparently just because the ship was destroyed 20 years ago, it's no longer a starship. It's now a giant space globe.
But the Navy
That
also
doesn't
likes
look at
to
all
rename
realistic.
ships with the exact same name.
Yeah.
I think there's like 4 Enterprises.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there's always going to be an Enterprise.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well. Yeah, my dad was on the Enterprise. So I'm like,
There were Enterprise sailing vessels in colonial times, too. Like, it's
Yeah.
not a new name.
I know.
And the first
Yeah.
NASA's first space shuttle was because of Star Trek fans named the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Ah.
It's
Yeah.
funny you both have a Navy connection, isn't it?
Yeah.
What are the odds?
Active duty for 7 years. It was genuine.
I really loved at the beginning when they were taking a sample.
How
They picked
Forgot
it
about
up
that.
with tongs. They didn't touch it with their hands. I was like,
I-
one up on every alien movie ever.
I think it was hot after the phaser.
Still
Popped it off.
smarter than every other.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Well, they hit it like Spock's like, here's this, and then Kirk hits. He's like, all right, like hits it with another rock or whatever that was, and like the whole thing sounded hollow.
Yeah.
He was like, dong. Like,
Well, and the piece very clearly was already just like
Right.
stuck on there to puff up.
Uh-huh.
I feel bad for like the set designers because how much glitter was all over that set, and how much did they just take home with them all over?
Can't
That's
get
why
rid of
they
it.
really used tongs so the actors
Yeah.
wouldn't get glitter on them.
Yeah.
Did they ever explain what dichronium was?
It
Other
was
than
24 times harder than diamond.
Other than that,
21.7 or
Sorry.
something.
Yeah.
It's 2 chromium stuck together.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Spock was so sassy.
He was.
He is a sass master.
Yeah.
I was like, listen to you.
You're like, no wonder what we did.
So my first thing I noted was that they're fully into the red shirt death phase now. There's established kinds of patterns for the show that make me think that a lot of the stereotypes that I knew of or thought of were from season 2.
Yeah.
Really.
I was
So
thinking the same thing.
now we're really fully into it.
Season 2 is the best known of Star Trek. That's where you're going to get a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, I was wondering if Jim ever gets like citations for all these people that die.
Nope.
They're like, your crew keeps dying. What
They
are
were
you
racking
doing
them up in
over
this.
there?"
Yeah, this.
Well, in other episodes, he usually takes a minute to
Yeah.
reflect on how hard the deaths
That
are
was
on it.
awesome.
Oh.
And this one, it was
It's like,
just like,
uh,
whatever.
No one's.
No, it's-
I'm
the
well
best
aware
part.
that all these people on that planet are going to die because we're not bringing the vaccination,
Yeah.
but I don't
Eh.
care.
But
Yeah. And I'll risk my entire crew chasing this cloud. It felt, even with the obsession explanation, it felt out of character for Kirk.
Yeah, because I point to an episode that was a good episode, which was Conscious of the King, where he's got this previous incident, and they talk about
past story,
and he's kind of obsessed with it, and this one just isn't as strong. I guess it's just like you said, he's out of character.
Yeah, there are ways he could have handled it without going out of character, and the writing in this was just weak overall. It really was.
Kirk seems to have a lot of trauma. Based on the things I've read about Star Trek, I'm like, wow, you went through a lot.
He's got a sordid past. He's been through a lot.
I think it was interesting. Did they mention that it was his first assignment he encountered the cloud, but he was already a lieutenant? First, he skipped over ensign?
First assignment as an officer.
Okay, because ensigns aren't officers. Gotcha. The cloud size was extremely inconsistent.
I thought maybe it expanded in space or something. I didn't understand what.
Maybe.
It looked just as dense.
Actually, that would be a reason or a method for travel if it could do that. It could expand and contract in different direction.
I guess. I mean, I think what best exemplifies the poor writing here is Chapel's scene where she's like, oh, this data chip is McCoy telling you to eat. And we're all thinking, no, it's not. You're just lying. And that's fine because they do that on Star Trek. And it's implied like, oh, you're just having to go with him. And then she goes and explains it to McCoy. And I'm like, yeah, no, good writing. You wouldn't go and explain that.
You don't need to explain.
No, we got it. We understood it. Didn't really say eat.
That reminds me, I wondered how much of that episode you remembered.
None at all. Really, nothing at all. I'm sure I've seen it, but I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah, I'd seen it a few times. I didn't remember anything off of the planet. I just remember the cloud coming up over the rocks. And
I didn't even remember that.
Killing everybody. I remember the ensign, the young ensign, and his dad, or whatever.
Ensign
Garvik.
Yeah, he was super dramatic. Every time he laid on his bed.
His pouting reminded me of Jennifer Connelly in Labyrinth.
Yes, oh my god.
Just like very 14 years old, and his arm over his eyes. Oh, block out the light.
I felt like he and Shatner were both overacting majorly, and both like connecting way too on the nose.
Yeah.
Like, oh yes. Yeah, I don't know.
They had some good moments, but they had some just insane.
I mean, Kirk, the whole thing at the beginning when he first like, I smell, honey, it was this time. And like, it was just so
that was classic Shatner.
I was expecting him to like, oh, I remember this honey from this woman that I
right. No, I was like, did you get laid?
Like,
well, that's what I thought of when somebody said smothered in honey. I was like, where are we going with this?
Oh yeah, what is this? That was a memorable
just a drop in the cleavage. You're good.
I was like,
I think it was Spock that said smothered in honey. Come to think of it, yes. Because
that's
a little out of character. The term smothered in honey.
There's a lot of out of character stuff.
Kirk's like, I'm often smothered in honey, but not this kind.
Yeah, who wrote this pile of junk?
Oh, that's right. So it's like Spock was waxing.
Wallace. Art Wallace was the writer. I'm looking to see what else he wrote.
Sounds fake.
Hashtag fake news.
The writing credits Art Wallace and Gene Roddenberry, so
okay.
Doesn't want to load. Here we go. So, he's famous for being a writer on Dark Shadows in the 60s.
Oh, which was kind of a campy.
He wrote the TV movie Forgotten City of the Planet of the Apes and Back to the Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
And a couple episodes of the show Planet of the Apes. He was writer and creator of Dark Shadows, so he's credited with over 1,200 episodes of Dark Shadows.
Wow.
There were that many.
He only wrote 2 episodes of Star Trek, and the other one I remember being really Assignment Earth. I think that's a really good.
Oh, that's one with with
Gary, or not Gary.
Lansing.
Gary 7.
Yeah. With Terry Garr. Terry Garr's in it.
Yeah. So he wrote 1 great episode and 1 terrible episode of Star Trek.
There was a lot of casual touching with Kirk and Spock.
Touching hands and they ended off the.
There was like, he's like, we're talking.
And just gently on his forearm, the flat tips of the fingers, like, oh.
I see why this is.
And then it lingers.
Oh yeah.
I was like, yes.
Sulu wasn't the gay one.
More at that.
Yeah, with Sulu, it was cool to see so many people in this episode. There were a lot more crew members.
Yeah.
To get to your point about the red shirts, and it's like,
I
guess there are 470 people on this. But
well, now they're like 410.
Well, right. Yeah. And there were like 14 different red shirts. I was just thinking, when they run out, they just like, all right, you in the blue,
Restock.
you need to put a red shirt on. Yeah,
that's why Leslie was wearing red this time.
We're low on fodder. Yeah.
Suit up.
Yeah.
I love that, of course, the red shirt that died was, like, really good friends with Garabik, where they're like, did you know him? Yeah. We were, like, best buds.
He
We
said
hung
that?
out
Did
all
I
the
know
time.
him?
Yeah, I thought he was gonna
Dude,
say.
he has the other half of my best friend necklace.
The halves are hearts when you put them together.
I mean, it makes sense that they probably hung out. They knew each other.
Oh, they're security
I think.
officers.
Yeah,
And they were the only ones left alive.
they were at the gym at the same time probably, and that kind of stuff. But yeah, while we've already got he's the
only
son
logical.
of the captain that was Kirk's captain that got killed by this very same cloud.
Yeah.
We think could be a different cloud.
Yeah.
And then like immediately he puts.
Yeah, that's pretty stereotyping. All clouds look the same. I don't
Yeah.
think so.
What is this?
I mean, black clouds matter.
All clouds matter, Sam.
Well, it's the way the honey smelling clouds. That's how you can tell.
That's true.
Oh, the smell.
Yes.
Honey clouds matter. There we go.
Honey clouds.
Yeah, that is a good.
Oh,
That's
God.
again. Nothing. I mean, what would suggest that that's the only one?
If it was a Twilight Zone episode, then we'd like zoom out. There were several other clouds going different ways, or like this was just one of many.
And it's like we're all doomed.
I guess it didn't really give us much evidence to suggest that he should even think that or jump to that conclusion
No,
that there's only
just the
one,
smell.
the same one,
Yeah.
Yeah, and we.
and another of its type.
That's why it's called obsession.
Yeah.
I guess.
Wow.
I like, speaking of that, where Spock, specifically speaking of people spelling things out, gave the dictionary definition of obsession.
Yeah.
Fix it.
And
Maybe
the
it wasn't-
whole like exchange between him and McCoy and Kirk, he's like, the regulations
So
state
good.
this is what we need to say, and this is how we have to respond.
I kind of liked. I mean, I kind of liked once they got past that part, and Kirk was actually demonstrating that he was actually thinking some of these things through.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
risk to the rest of the universe if these actually were
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah, I like some of those aspects.
I mean, Star Trek has done Moby Dick so many times.
That
Yeah.
too.
And I feel like First Contact, the film, is the definitive Moby Dick, and now the rest of these Moby Dick episodes, I'm just like, eh.
Well, we talked about it with the Doomsday Machine.
Yeah.
That was
better.
a better.
That was a
Moby
much better
Dick.
episode.
Yeah.
But it wasn't Kirk that was so obsessed.
Right.
It was Decker, who we will revisit with his son down the road, but
Speaking of dead captains, sons.
and their sons, yes.
Oh man.
In Star Trek: The Motion Picture, we meet Decker's son.
So speaking of also themes, one of the things I wrote down was that this was 2 episodes in a row where they were questioning Kirk's fitness for duty, and
Oh, yeah.
so they handled it very differently.
Yeah.
In this case, it was sort of like, hey, let's take going into his own quarters and kind of talking it out. And this, they had to do that whole, or the episode before, they did the whole, almost like a court-martial feel of the procedural, like a trial of like, we have to go and testify now. And
Yeah.
I guess the Commodore being there affected that or something.
Maybe they're like, we already did that whole rigmarole last time. This time we're just
Yeah.
gonna cut right
Well,
to
I
the
think in
chase."
this one it was them like, hey, we're gonna come and talk to you and let you kind of either get your stuff together or we're gonna have to do this. So, how do you want to do this?
Maybe the characters are like, oh, I don't want to do that again.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We just did this.
Sulu wasn't available to testify this episode, so
Neither was Janet Wallace or whatever.
Sulu was the only one of our big reoccurring
No
that
Sulu.
wasn't in this one.
Yeah.
And he's not gonna be in the next few, right?
I think this is when he might still be doing his Green Berets.
So if you noticed in the opening credits, there are only 3 lead characters in the show.
I did notice
Until
that.
season 1, there were only 2. They didn't have McCoy till season 2. I mean, he was in the show, but he wasn't
Yeah.
a lead. So Sulu, Chekhov, Uhura, Scotty, they only do like half the episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
I
come and
noticed
go.
that at the beginning. I was like, wait a second.
Yeah. Season 1, they only did half the episodes. I feel like season 2, they're doing more episodes each.
Yeah.
Not every episode, but. And there's Chapel does a decent amount. I liked, once again, we have an example of nobody knocks on doors on McCoy just walks in and goes, "Can I come in?"
I
You're
loved
in.
when he's like, we're thinking you're not fit, and I'm going to tell you you're not fit, but I need a witness. And then, like, wow, was he just standing there the whole time?
I said I need a witness.
Was the door in on your dramatic exit?
I'm
The
sure.
door no?
It's only logical to handle it dramatically.
It would have been great if just some random crew member came in.
Or Leslie was
I'm
walking by
here.
going, "Oh shoot! I was supposed to be in that scene."
Oh, I'm dead.
I love that he was waiting.
I wasn't here.
he was waiting around the corner too. It's not like he was right by the door. So like he knew to like walk around the corner to the door as soon as it was open.
Was timed out.
And I'm sure that's going to make Kirk feel better about it, if knowing that he had it planned out to that extent. That like, we're going to ambush you now.
Although, that all aside, I really liked the scene where Spock's like, "Doctor, I need your advice."
Yeah,
like,
that's a great scene.
Moment.
Yeah.
Really good.
We're starting to get that Spock-McCoy relationship, which is such a hallmark.
That was one of my notes, was Spock
Yeah.
McCoy Sass Fest.
They're great frenemies. Oh.
They were great.
And I also had to know, I thought Kelly was great in this one.
Yeah.
Doing his thing. And then that was right before the end where he's just, when they're trying to beam him up and he's not helping other than do something.
I know.
And then he yells at him again. And then he gets racist with Spock about
I know.
pitchforks and
Pitchforks
40
and
years.
40 years.
It's like, all right, well.
Because he always says Spock looks like a demon.
Oh,
Like the devil.
okay. That's
Same.
what that meant.
Oh yeah, what is it in the new ones? He calls him a hobgoblin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
McCoy was my only fashion note, if you want to do your fashion.
What, like his shorts?
I love the short
Yeah.
sleeves, and I felt like
I'm
his tunic
fixated
has
on
gotten
those.
shiny.
Yeah.
Like he was standing next to Spock and they were the same color, but
It's
McCoy's was
definitely-
shiny.
Yeah.
Well, you gotta be able to wipe the blood off of that. You're not able to set into the fibers.
Well, they had
Wow.
to show off his nice forearm.
Well, he likes.
Yeah.
Nice forearm.
He's the
I
only
was
one that
like,
wears the short sleeves,
Yeah.
but I would wear the
Sure.
short sleeves if I were him. Absolutely.
Sir. look at him.
Well, when you're doing whatever you do with surgery, even space surgery, you don't want
You
you
have
don't
to
want your
scrub
sleeve
in.
getting
Much
in the
like
way.
space psychology.
Yeah.
Mine, all the ladies, they look like, you can tell it's the 60s, because they look like they could just walk into like a Nancy Sinatra music video.
These boots
Yeah.
are made for walking.
Yeah, like you
yeah.
look exactly like this music video.
That was one of the things I put down was season 2. Women are still getting that soft filter.
Mhm.
That's gonna continue.
Yeah, I bet.
Don't-
That's not going away. I wish I had that soft filter anytime someone looked at me, so I could just be like, glitter. So.
Have we ever talked about why we think they do that? I mean,
Oh,
what-
because women are. It's.
I mean, is it something that
supposed to be-
the actresses are demanding, or they think that this
I
is?
think it's just
Uh,
common
No.
practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
don't
gotta-
get it.
Women are softer, gentler.
Ah.
They should be looked upon as such.
They can't
All
be
that
first
crap.
officers.
Yeah.
Right.
Except now we have Discovery, which is set 10 years before this, so
Yeah.
we saw a female captain and a female first officer.
Yeah.
Boom.
yeah,
How does that work?
And they were Asian and African
I was gonna
American.
say they're not even white.
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense.
Probably.
How's the ship still flying? It doesn't.
Well, Keith, interesting you say that because it's not. It was destroyed and the captain was killed.
Of course.
Oh, dang.
I mean, one woman was on her period.
I was going there.
So they synced up, obviously.
Jokes
Of course.
The men
So,
can't make.
once they sink, everyone knows there's an explosion. That's why we don't have all female submarines yet. Okay? We got to figure out those logistics first.
Oh my god. Going back to the getting the tropes in order for this season,
Yeah.
there was I thought a missed comic opportunity or comedic opportunity when Uhura passed along the message, "He's dead, sir," instead of like, "He's dead, Jim." That's the message from.
Oh, you
this
heard
okay.
it. We're calling him Jim.
Yeah, but
That's reserved for Spock and McCoy.
she was quoting
Yeah.
a direct quote from the Doctor.
That's
He's dead,
true.
Jim.
That would have been funny.
So
Actually, I thought you were going to mention when Kirk calls up to tell Uhura to tell Chekhov to set a course for wherever they're going. It's like he's listening right now.
I liked when
So in my mind, like she's like, okay, hey Chekhov, I heard him. I'm right here. I heard him.
I liked when
like
they
the
were
Galaxy
talking
Quest.
to Spock on the
Yeah.
view screen, and Scotty's like, "Let me cut in," and it switches to him.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
That was great.
Yeah. It's like Skype. It's like the other person talking goes jumps there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they had a problem with an alien
Uh-huh.
and a woman, but they didn't have a problem with a Russian.
Mm.
No, they added the Russian in season 2
Yeah.
That's
because he was young and
Right.
he was supposed to look like the monkeys
Yeah.
to attract the younger viewers.
I can see that.
Oh my god.
I can
Yep.
see.
I just-
Hence the haircut.
Would have
Yes.
been a better draw if he was British, though.
You know, this. It's just a really good way to diagram out what infuriates me about the idea of how television executives make decisions and the way that they're allowed to influence things to that extent.
I don't know
And
what
they
you're
still-
talking
They
about. Keith. I
still
think
do.
television executives are the smartest people on the earth.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, yes.
That killed the conversation.
Yeah. I'm like thinking, I'm just already getting myself blackballed.
If we
Not
could only
that
all
I
be
ever
as
get-
if we could only all be as intelligent and charming as Harvey Weinstein. This was
Oh,
I mean,
no.
that's a movie executive.
this was
Totally
recorded in September 2017, right?
Oh.
If we recorded this a month ago and I had said that would have been great. By now he'll be gone because this won't air till like February.
Isn't he already gone?
I think so.
He's
but
already been let go of.
He's been let go of a
Yeah.
lot of things, but anyway.
I
He'll,
think
he'll be
like
making
he
his
actually-
comeback by the time this airs.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
his great
man.
redemption.
Should
He's on
we-
the cover of Time.
Should
He's
we
like,
do
"I'm
what
sorry,
we've done
ladies."
wrong in so many other episodes and saying, by the time this runs, Donald Trump won't be in the White
Right,
House?
yeah. So far,
Just
that's...
say it every episode until it becomes true.
But
crossed.
didn't
Speak
he
it into
like
existence.
didn't he already like flee?
Harvey?
To Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, did he really?
He did
Yeah.
a rope. He pulled a
Is that
Roman
where he's getting
Polanski.
his therapy?
Yes.
His therapy.
Mm.
Quotation. I'm making air quotes so everyone knows. Ugh.
So gross.
Just
I
therapies in
felt
a
like
bathhouse.
Kirk's quarters weren't any bigger than Garavic's.
No.
And,
No, I wondered why the ensign had his own private quarters.
And he definitely didn't have, they all have the same bedding.
yeah.
They all have
Yeah.
the same, like the same ugly bases. They look like no one lives there.
and the same vent with the switch over it.
And
Yeah.
Garavik had a
Yeah.
3-dimensional chess set in his room, which I'm
He
like,
did.
that's an interesting character choice for him.
Well, when Jessica mentioned the Voss,
Yeah.
all I could think about was every time they get hit by something and people get thrown out, those
They don't
the
care.
bases must break every friggin' time.
Well, they have
Their
replicators.
base
to make
budget
new
is
ones.
huge.
It's replicators.
Actually, I guess
noticed-
they could do that.
I noticed for the first time that Kirk's desk in his quarters is wood on top.
Yeah.
I don't think we see anything else wood in that entire starship. But his private desk is wood.
He enjoys the old things or something.
Well, we know
It
that
doesn't
from
match
movies,
the decor at all.
but
no.
and none of the quarters
works
have
out
windows in the original series because they couldn't show the spaceports so easily.
I guess it's like
That's
the
true. Yeah.
lawyer who insisted on having all those books
Oh, yeah.
in his office. It's
Yeah.
that character choice of
Yes.
like,
Yeah. I think it's appropriate that Kirk would would.
Yeah.
I just thought it was an interesting thing to note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked in the scene where they're challenging Kirk, I think. I think they ran out of musical stingers. There were so many.
oh, I love those.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, when the ensign
And they're like,
first
oh.
showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like-
like, oh, he's important.
Yeah, I mean they
Oh, they really focused on him.
they unloaded all of them in this episode.
Yeah.
It was overkill.
For the OGP thing that I did the recording for the show
Oh
last
yeah,
night.
yeah.
The first thing I wanted to do actually, I was looking for if I could get like a good Star Trek Sting sample for instead of the news break theme
Yeah,
for the.
yeah.
But I was like, oh, I can't find a good one for this. And
I love
gonna
the
be-
door sound.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I love it. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah.
more of that.
I've been this
Just I would
Next
just
text-
walk in and
text
out of
message.
doors.
Because in a few hundred years, they still won't have realized how to make them silent yet.
yeah. Apparently.
Well,
It's a satisfying sound
Yeah.
though.
In
Walking in
Airplane-
just like,
in Airplane 2, when Shatner's and when they go through the doors, they go shh.
oh, do they?
They make the sound.
I've never seen.
I bet in Shatner's house,
It's on a
like
spaceship.
when you walk through his own home, all of his doors.
It's
go
a
shh.
shuttle that goes up.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean, the characters on screen do this, or you
Yeah.
say, oh,
yeah.
It's a
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
But
pretty good.
it's like his acting has become so exaggerated that the cultural image
So-
we have of his acting is not as exaggerated as he actually
That's
does
the
on
thing.
screen.
But the thing is,
Which is so
he's
funny.
not this bad in every episode. In
Right.
certain episodes, he does a really good job.
Yeah.
And then there's episodes like this where you're like, dude, stop.
There are
Yeah, it's
spots.
like I see where it comes from, but it's still not as bad as
No,
like,
it's
we
a
all
copy
think.
of a copy of a copy.
Yeah,
so
right. Like,
it's
it's
just
exaggerated,
become so-
exaggerated. Yeah.
I said the
But
same thing in
must.
season 1 when I was like, oh, he doesn't do that.
No.
And the red shirts don't die as much as I thought they did.
Yeah.
So,
Jump to season 2.
season 2, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
now they're all
Now it's
dying.
time.
Okay.
There it
Yeah,
is.
but even he
Yeah.
exaggerates it more now.
Yeah.
I agree, yeah.
I dig the hell out of him, though. He just
It
cracks
was,
me up.
Well, wasn't he a total diva on set?
Oh,
too?
yeah. Yeah,
So-
nobody liked him on his Star Trek days. Except Nimoy. They stayed friends, but
Yeah.
nobody else liked him.
He's like, I need my screen time, and he stole. Didn't he like
Steal all the
from
lines,
people?
yeah, from the
Yeah.
little characters.
You don't get that
Yeah.
line. It's my line.
Yeah. Well, he was always jealous of Spock getting so much attention, and he's like, I'm the star of the show, I need more.
Funny thing is, it sort of plays out a lot like pro wrestling. Well, and from what you hear about not you personally, but some people, if they're into the industry, they know the backstage drama is a lot like that kind of fighting for screen time and doing like that. No, this character's too small. This guy's too small. I'm gonna take his lines, etc. Anyway,
what other notes you guys got?
Why didn't they just go drop off the medical supplies and come back?
Why didn't Yorktown just carry the medical supplies on for them?
That's a good question.
Why are these vaccines time sensitive?
The
only vaccine I think that we have that's time sensitive is the flu vaccine.
We needed a ticking clock.
I guess.
Well, space flu is a different thing.
A whole different
serious issue.
Can only be handled by a space doctor who's been trained at a space academy.
Space.
Space bar.
My other question that is another one of those that we might have not have episode. Why didn't they kill the Cloud the first time? It killed 200 people on a
They're like, we better cut our losses and move on.
What was the... yeah, exactly.
Like they didn't report it. They didn't, but there were records.
It's in the records, but why didn't somebody
maybe a bigger
deal?
probably,
the whole fleet
we should probably take care of this.
Well, half the crew was dead. The captain was dead. Whatever junior officer was in charge was probably like, I don't know what to do. I'm going to pee my pants, and that ran off. Yeah. I don't know.
Cloud doesn't like the taste of pee.
Just blood.
So all you do is pee your pants and you'll survive?
Yes.
It's like a shark or a bear. Is that what you're supposed to do?
Yes.
Pee your
Well,
pants?
I didn't understand what, and it was never explained,
Roll
because I guess they didn't know, why did the Cloud need red blood? What did it do?
Why did it need heme?
Yeah. I don't know.
What does God do with the starship?
That's how it gains its consciousness.
That's
that's my theory.
Yeah.
It gets blood into its cloudy veins,
So
which is the
cloud.
sparklers.
Sure.
And so that's its synapses going off, so it can think for only a short amount of time. So it needs more and more blood to become more and more sentient.
Maybe it just likes to taste.
Maybe that's how it divides. And
It is
reproduces.
especially a
He's
cloud
just
vampire?
floating in space.
It's
with
just
no
the
idea.
evolution of Dracula. Like
That's
Dracula
what
can
I
turn
was-
into
yeah.
the mist. Now he just doesn't turn into a bat anymore.
So then once that mist comes to Transylvania, then he becomes a bat,
Right.
and then he becomes Dracula.
Right.
He can switch. Okay.
But since he's in space, he's just
It's
a cloud.
a space vampire. That's how.
Yeah.
yeah.
And they couldn't afford any Yeoman female guest stars for this episode, because then the Cloud could have seduced one of them.
I was
Yeah,
expecting
it
it
becomes
to.
Renfield.
Yeah.
I was expecting the Cloud to possess Spock.
Oh.
I don't know why. When he's like
Right.
walking it, I was like, he's possessed. Don't trust
I was
him.
waiting for
He's been in the room with it.
Invasion of the Cloud body snatchers. I was
But then he
waiting
was
for a
fine.
possession as well because of Universe Journey episode 1.
I don't know what you're talking about. We already did that. That was where No Man Has Gone before.
I know, but still, I was waiting for some I was waiting for a little more. I was waiting for possession because of that episode.
That was a different episode.
I was also expecting an argument for we need to
because
study
Star Trek
this thing. Yeah.
Reuse
Scientifically.
themes
Yeah,
ever.
because it's a rare thing or whatever, like we've had in a couple of the other episodes, but turned out, nope, let's blow it up. Which makes sense, because
It was really deadly.
it had killed
Silent but
4
deadly.
crew members, 3 crew members.
Oh, like
Four.
7 or
Eating
something.
magic.
A few different times.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
But yeah, that's always the impetus in a lot of space horror movies too.
Yeah.
They're like, we must study it. We can't kill
Right.
it, and you're like, but we
Set
can.
fire to that
Hey, how about we kill it and then we study it?
Yeah, let's just study its corpse.
Oh.
Sounds like a good time.
I will say I really liked the updated special effect of the planet at the end as they left, where you could
Yeah.
see what the explosion of the
Yeah.
antimatter had done to the surface.
Because they make the statement, it'll blow away half the atmosphere.
Yeah, and it did.
Yeah. That was cool.
That was really cool.
Hmm.
That was good.
So I had several things left.
Okay.
Start from the top. The smoke plume looked like it might have been dry ice. I don't know if that's
Yeah,
Probably.
that's what I thought.
And when it sucked itself back in, that was clearly them running the footage backwards.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I first
That's
saw it in
funny.
the smoke thing, I was like, oh, look, it's the smoke from Lost.
Oh my
yeah.
God! Yeah. That's-
See Lost rips off Star Trek too?
Yep.
it seemed like they were lots of dropped story ideas that seemed to like happen halfway through. They were like, whoa, like they're hinting toward something. So I thought they were hinting toward the Cloud being able to influence their actions to some extent. So that's the reason why they both hesitated. So like that's what they were going for. Yeah.
That's another reason I was waiting for a possession.
Oh.
No, it was called Obsession.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The
By not
possession.
Calvin Klein.
Yeah.
By Cloud and Kind.
Oh God. This is.
tried.
Wait. I wish the audience could see Sam being helpless with laughter just then. It's not coming across on the mic, but it's still happening. Oh, there we go.
I'm laughing because it's a dumb joke.
It's one of the first episodes where I noticed how much I appreciate Kirk's voiceover talents for the the diaries as they're going through it. And then I noted like the episode before. No, it was a couple episodes before when they were down on the planet and they had Scott in charge, Scotty, and he was just talking to the room as he's recording it instead of actually them having So I don't know if that's a dramatic thing or just resources they have to.
Yeah, we noted that too. It was weird that Scotty did like a live. I'm just gonna talk and you're all here and that's cool.
It's like a cock-a joke too.
Yeah.
Later.
I don't know why you keep
I
relating this
mentioned
universe.
I mentioned that too.
I don't rip anything off.
Yeah, and James Doohan's a guy who's a great voice actor. I don't know why you wouldn't have him
That's true.
do a voiceover, but
What are you gonna do? Last thing I thought that Sam would have mentioned, if you will read my last note there.
Oh my god! Oh.
Yep. Right.
So at the very end, Keith and I both had noted that it was very Jaws-like music as the cloud was coming closer, and I was like, "Oh, there it is!" waiting for it.
I noted Sam is likely noting the same thing right now. Yeah. So.
Of one mind.
I never even thought about that before. That makes total sense.
Yeah, it was very Jaws-ish.
Jaws copied.
That could be.
Well, who
Disparaging John Williams?
Yeah. Oh, I was just thinking of that. Thank you. So I was like, oh man. So it's just
He
an
has
influence,
influences like
not a
everybody
copy.
There is somebody that
Yeah.
there is a thing out there that they say he ripped off some Czechoslovakian composer that.
It's all been done. Someone's always ripping off of someone.
Just like Chekhov notes.
That's right.
Russia did it
Swear
first.
like he's like the most awarded.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Between him and Danny Elfman.
My alternate episode for this was the people waiting on the medical supplies. Why aren't they coming? Something about chasing a cloud or something. What?
Were they high?
Well, don't worry. We'll get you. We'll get you cured.
It's the space version
Still have
of chasing
we
the
still have
dragon.
54 hours.
Yes, they're chasing.
Because they're chasing a cloud.
Some man is chasing a cloud with his starship instead of delivering supplies to us.
They just keep
Smelling
cutting back to
obsession over and
what time
over
it is. And
That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, we told the writers that too.
The 15th Star Trek movie is a child who lost his parents because Kirk didn't deliver and goes after him.
Yes.
And then he becomes Batman. Space Batman, though.
I was just thinking.
Any other notes?
I had one little note just at the
Okay.
beginning where Kirk asked McCoy to wake up the guy who's dying, Rizzo.
I heard that.
Oh.
And so he tells Chapel, again, it's one of those things like, hey, do this thing even though I'm right here. And she looks at him like, she's like, gonna question him? Like, I don't think we should do that. And then he just kind of looks at her. She's like, you're right. I should just,
And
I'll
she
just give it a
stabs
shot.
it into him through his clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hypo
That's-
space
yeah.
really close.
I was like, what?
I
It's
noted
gas.
that too.
I think,
It's not a needle, it's gas.
and they actually have that now.
Yeah, they do.
Which I wish.
Like a
Oh.
really
Yeah.
intense short burst of air that'll go through the skin.
yeah.
Jess, it's a gas, Jess.
It's a gas.
Gaseous
Gaseous.
medicine.
No, no, a gas, comma, Jess.
It's a gas.
So I know this one's gonna be hard, but our men and women of Star Trek, Steven, any
I'm sticking with, who was last time?
Yeoman Adkins?
What was
Yeoman Adkins?
what?
From the Deadly Years?
I'm not changing.
I'm sticking with Brunette Aid Rebecca, which I think I made up the name because we need the
Yes.
names of the characters.
Yes.
Keith, you were still under Merged Headford.
Well, I admit that maybe I was hasty, but I have to stick with the decision because I'm still on that planet. Maybe someday someone will maybe go back in time and change things, but until then, I guess I'm just have to stand by my decision.
Merged Headford. Sam, do you have a man of Star Trek for this episode?
Well,
you still have Khan.
well, I was
but that was
saying-
season 1. We restarted season 2.
So for restarting season 2, I'm gonna go with the security officer because I mean, let's face it. When he first walked in, I was like, "Damn, he cute." So,
Instant Garovic?
yes,
Well,
he's very cute.
They did the shot for you for you to
They
give you
did.
time to think about like
he walked in and he was
look
like,
at this
and I'm
guy.
like, oh, those blue eyes.
The hero
and a
entrance.
nice, like, yeah.
Yeah.
So they did give him a very hero entrance. I thought he was very cute.
Jess?
But I think Khan is
What
still
is
mine.
this? Am I just picking?
Somebody that you think was just like super attractive stood out.
But it can't be one of the main guys.
Can't be a main.
Yeah, because my first episode I said Kirk because back then Shatner was pretty
But
So
the-
McCoy's
attractive.
arms don't count.
No.
Just his arms though.
Ooh.
Specifically,
Yeah.
Probably allow that.
Let's allow Jess to do the forearm.
McCoy forearms.
I mean, the security officer was cute and all, but then when he was doing his scan on the planet and he was in his weird wide-legged power stance, I was like, I can't take this seriously. He was like this, like.
I can't what are you doing?
yeah.
It's like he used to have a dance career and he's still trying to show off. And
Yeah, like I even wrote that down. I was like, what? Why?
And where do we want to rank this episode? So obviously we're starting at the top. Let's start at the bottom.
oh gosh. Yeah.
Above or below Cat Spa.
And she
I think
I don't
I probably liked it more than you guys, but I didn't love this. But I have probably above Cat's Paw.
Above Cat Spa?
which one was Cat's Paw?
The Witches.
Yeah, the
One
big
with
giant
the cat's
cat.
paw. Is that the one I talked about where they were in a maze?
They're like a fake castle. It's all imaginary, and then at the end, it's just two little creatures.
That might have been the one I was watching by myself, I think, which is why I didn't register.
Yeah, it was the one where they put the pendant of the Enterprise to a candle and it heated up the entire ship.
Oh my
Were they being
god.
chased by like a kitten?
There's a giant cat. Yeah.
That's the very
Yeah.
first. Okay, that's the first episode.
Yeah.
That was the first episode
Yeah.
I ever saw a piece of. Damn
Okay.
it, I wanted
Yeah.
to watch.
I
that
think
one.
this is better than that. I agree.
Yeah.
Friday's Child.
That had all the stuff in it.
All the stuff.
Yeah, just all the tropes and stuff in it, or the at least the Star Trek thing. So I kind of liked that.
That was the Klingons, right?
Yeah,
It
the
was
Klingons negotiating.
the Tier and
Yeah.
the Klingons and the. What's above that?
Deadly Years. It's not. This is not above Deadly Years.
Yeah.
Friday's Trial might lose points for McCoy having to slap the woman. But
That's true.
What kind of slap we talking?
Oh,
All right.
full on slap.
It
When
was-
you turn
it was-
her on, it made
What
kind
is
of
it
excited.
like?
Smack. Yeah.
it was retaliatory, so he's like trying to give her a medical exam, and she keeps slapping him, saying, "You can't touch me." This is like her custom, and so he just slaps her back, and she's like, "Oh." It's like, okay, you can touch me. I
And then she named her
approve
baby
now.
after him.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's some good slapping.
Yeah.
It's pretty close.
Yeah.
I'd put this below because I hate
Yeah.
this episode.
Yeah.
There's a lot more stuff going on in the other one too. This is them chasing a cloud. They're chasing a white whale cloud, and yeah.
Yeah.
It's a not very good Moby Dick.
Yeah.
Cloudy dick. Sorry.
So we okay putting it above Cat Spa, below Friday's Child?
Yeah.
Okay. So next time we will be talking. What episode's next?
Wolf in the Fold.
Wolf in the Fold.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
I predict we may have a lot of the same hosts. Just a guess. So, any final thoughts?
Take all your medicine.
When it's
Vaccines.
delivered.
You don't want to wait on a
Vaccines
starship.
are good.
Yeah. Yeah. Get vaccinated.
It's the cat again.
And get your dogs and cats spayed and neutered.
Yeah.
And
Oh, and live long and prosper.